Hey, welcome, all my right thinkers. Thanks for tuning in to check out your boy, P Funk. Thinking right out here in the lab where I do what I do for you. I'm about to do something good for you today. A real life lesson. So pay attention, get your popcorn. This should be interesting. Let's do what we do. Rightism, 25 rules to live by. Storytelling, story with a message. There's a message in the story for life. I'm giving you life lessons. You tuning and receiving them. I appreciate you. We got a good thing going. Let's go. Right Thinker's mission, and that's what I'm on, is to enlighten, inspire, educate, and motivate you, the individual, to a higher spiritual level of enlightenment. Right Thinker's way of life through mental and spiritual discipline, practice daily, will help and guide you to obtain your goal of spiritual enlightenment, aka know thyself. My mission is that all right thinkers know thyself. If you're a right thinker, your goal is to know thyself. Excuse me, I had a little brain freeze right there. So I asked the question, wow. Okay, I asked you the question, do you know you? That's important. So I'm going to give you things that help you do just that. Let's go. A person who knows not and knows not that they know not is foolish. Disregard them. A person who knows not and knows that they know not is simple, but you can teach them. That's why I do what I do for you. Appreciate you too. Stay tuned. I got more for you. A person who knows not and believe and think that they know is dangerous. Avoid them. I do. A person who knows and knows not that they know spiritually asleep. I can awaken them on the spiritual alarm clock here too. Wake you up with knowledge of self. That's what I do for you. A person who knows and knows that they know is wise. Follow them. All these persons reside in you. Right thinkers, know thyself, and always to my yacht, be true. We talk about self-mastery. In order for you to master yourself, you need to know thyself and need the things you need to get better at. So right thinkers, let's talk about today ignorance. The true root of all evil, aka the devil, which is the ego. That's what we're going to talk about. And right now, let's learn how to master evil. And if I got enough time, I got 2 pages of information, and I got another half a page about the devil. So this should be interesting. Let's go. On evil. All things in creation, which is matter, come from the original oneness, the original netter, we called them. All things were one and undifferentiated in the noon, not divided, not into different objects or with different names and forms. Netter has, understand this, created matter, but also lives in it as its soul. Remember, God created man, everything was perfect. Let me test drive it. That's when he got into his creation. I'm just trying to break it down so you understand it. But the soul, which is the life spark of the netter, what happened when it comes into the physical body, it forgets its netter, itself. It don't know itself. And watch this. It sees itself as an individual. I, me. That's your ego self. And that's fine. That's not who you want to run you out. But your lower self is elementary. You want to raise up to get to college level because you're going to grow. You can't stay at that level forever. Some people do. They never grow up. Hence, concept of Peter Pan. You can't be a kid all your life. Moving on. But that's this. This is the idea. When you believe you are an individual, I, me, that's ego. And you are amongst what? Many other individuals, a bunch of ignorant people. And giving rise to what? Matter. Netter has now created the illusion of what? Duality. Separation from itself. It splits off into 3. I was 1, I became 3. He didn't become 2. He became 3. Why? Because everything from that point came in pairs. Duality. That's why. So the illusion, which that's what it is, this real world, is separation. It gives rise to what? The feeling, such as fear, false evidence appearing real due to ignorance, greed, wanting more than that you handle, again, for the ego, hatred, emotions out of control, the ego, and more importantly, anger. We all have these qualities in us. The idea is to control them, hence mastery. Because what? You, the individual, you believe you must fight for what? For your survival. That's animal nature, that's beastly nature, and that's fine. And since that you, the individual, do not remember, your spirit do not remember that it is immortal. So now it's fearing what? Death. And a part of all other beings, you become one with God. When you become conscious of that here, that's when you become enlightened. But now he or she develops the idea of what? Looking out for who? Number one, self. Ego, which is natural. And of having what? Good time, since what? You only live once. That was his idea. I never forget it. And that was the concept that I wrote until I got enlightened. That's an ignorant concept, okay? At the time, I didn't know. But watch this. And being that mindset, ignorance, this imbalance of knowledge of who you are now develops. It develops due to what? That ignorance of self and about one's spiritual nature. I had no clue back in them days. And therefore, ignorance, not dumb, not stupid, just not knowing. So you're going to do things you're going to have to pay for that. Feel me? And watch this. Hear me again. When you don't know your spiritual nature, therefore now you are what? Ignorant. And ignorance is what? The root of all evils. Don't worry, I got a whole bunch of information to let it play out and show you. They knew this a long time ago. That's my point. Netter, it means what? We call him God. Okay, yeah, but that's modern time. Ancient time didn't know word. God didn't mean nothing to them. Netter. Okay, Nebercha. That's how they identify what we call God. So please understand that I use the word netter. But let me show you, the cross is a symbol of time and space. East, west, north, south, cardinal virtues. That's time and space. That's what we live in, third dimension. So don't get carried away. Oh, it's Jesus. No, we're going to break that down for you too. Everything is symbolic. If you understand the symbology, you get the esoteric meaning. Now you're enlightened. You know something that a lot of people don't. Masonic got handshakes and tokens of grip. They can share with each other. Nobody else know about them. Again, that's all symbology and esoteric knowledge. When you get that knowledge, you're a little bit, smarter than other people. That's why they go to college and get the degrees, so they can be a little bit better. Hoity-toity, I'm Dr. So-and-so. Slinging titles, moving on. But netter is the absolute reality, the one which lies beyond what? Time and space. Netter is the boundless, formless, timeless, etc. You see where I'm going with this? Those are all attributes of God. We call them netter. We are netter. Watch this. Now, this is the part about trying to get you to, if you can understand this, you become a right thinker. Why? Because you can start doing what you need to do to what? To know thyself. Watch this. We are netter. That means we're God. In flesh. We are matter. Exists. Why? Because the netter, the spirit that's in us, is what sustains us through what? The qualities of material existence. Matter is subject to existence. Where? Within time and space. You experience coldness, you experience movement, you have solidification into what? A physical form. We know how that go. And tended to be what? Drawn toward its original perfect state of equilibrium, Maya, which exists when? Before the apparent duality, it was there. And such, these are divine. Maya is a divine principle. Balance. It's the divine principles that affect what? Every physical object, including who? The human body. Equilibrium, balance in the body, moving on. The primordial state of our true being is what? It's spirit. We are spiritual beings outside of the physical body, but we need the physical body. We got to wear clothes. Our bodies are clothes for the spirit. How about that? We about to get to that next. I want to just give you a little segue tidbit. But the spirit, why? Because the very same matter that is given life owes its existence to what? Spirit energy that can be destroyed. It can just be manipulated. That's why in every human being, the spirit is what gives it life. When the spirit leaves the physical body, the body stays here. The spirit got one or two choices. It's going to continue on, so it ain't going to die. But either going to go get another body. If you enlighten it, you know thyself, it goes home. That's why you'll have no more births, no more recycle, reincarnations. Why? You done did your job here on earth. That's the concept for why am I here? Yeah, your mother and father got together, but once the spirit got into you, you have an agenda now to know thyself. Let's go. But in order to have worldly experience, here we go. Hope you're listening. Our spirit projects or clothes itself in physical form, which we call matter. In so doing, now the spirit, because it's physical, that it is spirit, it forgets its spirit, and it identifies with what? The physical body. That's the ego, and that's normally telling you that. Which the matter, which what composes the body. But what's in the body before the spirit, in the conscious mind, is me, I, the ego. That's why. And looking for fulfillment and led by what its desires to what? Whatever it is that it wants. It ain't thinking, it's thinking me, inward. And the spirit now, which is clothed in matter, in the physical body, what happened? It acts in ways in which are what? Now in accordance with the laws of physical matter, which is here, cause and effect. So you reap what you sow. And watch this. But because it remains, ding, 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 ignorant of itself spiritually, in spiritual reality, what happens? The laws of matter, which originally were divine, we're not born in a sinful world. We just come out here and doing what? Ignorance, because we don't know ourselves, so we're going to do a bunch of bad stuff and become what? Expressed as satanic or demonic behavior. This is the behavior of what? Set the ego self. Watch this. They gave him identity so he could show you. Watch this. It's based on fear, avarice, and avarice is just, I had to go look it up, right? What the hell is this? Avarice, and I'm going to read it avarice, so no, it's avarice, excuse me, now I have to go get the pronunciation, but when you're studying, you do that. Before I can teach, if I'd read this and say read it and just kept going, who the hell know what avarice? Just say greedy. How about that? I said, wait a minute, my man. I can appreciate the fancy word, but if it means greedy, just say greedy. But you know how they do. They want to use them $100 words. No, give me a $5 word. Why? Everybody can deal with the $5 word. Everybody understanding $100 words. That's why. Moving on. It's all intellectual BS. Moving on. And these are all qualities that you have. Fear, false evidence appearing real. Greed, which is emotions that you want more than what's yours. Selfishness. You ain't sharing. You ain't giving up nothing. Vanity, how you look, how people see you. Hatred, if it ain't for you, you don't like it. And more so passion, and that endless, though unfulfilling accumulation of what? Objects, things, and more so overindulgence in sexuality. You teach me, when I'm pointing back, that I'm pointing to somebody. And I'm telling you, these are all the characteristics that I know for a fact. No disrespect, but he did all of those things. I know that. Why? I live with him. But yeah, this is evil. Trust me, I know evil. We get into a good part. Now, of all themselves, what's this? Time and space are not evil. No. However, when the spirit becomes identified with what? The limited concepts, the humanality of time and space, evil in the form of what? Egotistical, self-centered behavior emerges. The me, the I. Okay? I gravitated to that. Why? Because it was working at the time. But there's a caveat to that too. Oh yeah, oh, don't worry. The symbol of time and space is what? The cross. I wrote that down for you earlier. That's all it is. Watch this. Now the spirit is symbolically, you hear me? The spirit, which is Christ, is symbolically crucified. Where? On the cross? No, on the cross of what? Time and space. We all here. We all go through it. Don't tell me Christ. No, I try to tell you that, and this explains it. When you enter into this physical world, we are God, yeah, but we're not. That God is out the window right now. You're in the physical form. Okay, perform in this form. Use your five senses and your godliness to get through it. That's everybody's choice. No exceptions. Okay, but now the passion of, how about this? Jesus is symbol of what? The passion experienced by every soul, not by one. It says by every soul, which comes into the physical world. I've been making that argument for the longest. I don't make it up. I'm just getting it from somewhere. Okay, and I understand that. But for every human being, the task, therefore, is to what? Is to return to what? That primordial state of fulfillment, Hotep, by what? Spiritualizing matter. The fall of man from spirit to matter. Now the man can what? Go back up, get his wings, so to speak, and go back to where he come from. Makes sense to me. Moving on. In one's own body and his mental consciousness, mind, now by identifying with what? Our spiritual nature. The heart conscious, when them two come together, now you know who you are. Life is going to be fun. Why? Evil itself provides what? A road to realization, and it does, watch this, of its own, you ready? Wrongness. Why? Because evil actions create consequences. Here we go. Why do we suffer? Because we're ignorant. Why? Because the thing that we do, we're going to suffer the consequences of said actions. And if you do the right thing, the consequences becomes blessings. Remember? Okay, but watch this. But we're talking about evil. And it creates evil actions, create consequences that causes pain, suffering, and guess what? It leads to death, which allows the what? Superficial mental consciousness to now awaken in its deeper divine self. And eventually what happens? It will discover true equilibrium. It cannot find it in the world of time and space. I've been telling you, happiness, contentment, all that comes from you finding your place. You putting yourself in that state of mind. It ain't going to just happen. Moving on. That's all I'm trying to say. And watch this. Where we coming? I'm over here now. Your conscious awake. Okay, now. But you, the human form, is the only one, you yourself, in which consciousness can what? Realize. Animals can't realize who they are. They don't have consciousness. Itself is to be what? Both physical and spiritual. We are spiritual beings having a human experience. That's what they're telling you right there. And watch this, at the same time. The way to realize one's spiritual nature, how? Calm down. Is to hold your qualities, the qualities of matter and spirit, in what? Balance. AKA Maya, live it through what? Righteous, virtuous actions. When? Daily. Such as, you ready? Selfless service. I'm doing that right now. Right now, I'm doing my job for my higher self. Non-covertedness. I'm maintaining my lower nature. No problem with that. Etc. See what's going with this? When you have mastery of self, you control you. Situations don't control you. Opposite sex don't control you. Don't control you. See where I'm going with that? You do that. And if you have evil intent, that means you're ignorant of your higher self. Watch this. This is where we're going. Watch this. Now, what happens? Non-covertedness, and watch this. And now, by crucifying who? Your evil ideas. I crucify them. Never something negative come up. Man, get up out of here. Okay? Dismiss it. Why? Don't give it no legs. Don't give it nothing to occupy space in your mind. You can do that. That's what daily meditation is for. And watch this. And you crucifying evil ideas, feelings, negative, or bad intentions when what? When they arise in your mind. That's self-mastery. That's how you control and defeat your ego or evil self. Watch this. I ain't done. Evil does what? It gourds good, positive intentions out of its what? Complacency. It's trying to get you, like evil, just trying to get you, come on to my side. So it's a constant fight. Watch this, to do what's right. Watch this. Now, it wants to get you out of your complacency until what? In doing this, it gives you strength and takes you to a higher state of wisdom. Why? Through the struggle to overcome and defeat evil, aka your lower nature. It ain't easy. That's why a lot of people fail the first few times out. Oh, everybody doesn't reincarnate. Nobody gets it right the first time. No, I ain't going there. But yeah, that's the idea. You're going to reincarnate. Why? Because you got to learn. The physical world is to learn. Moving on, write this. And when you overcome evil, aka conquer the ego self, and what you went through, they say the phrase, what don't kill you makes you stronger. Ain't nothing better than being spiritually strong. That means you can endure hard times. You can endure whatever coming. You're still going to stay like Job. He didn't care. He stayed focused. That's all it's about. And everybody got a story. Everybody got an allegory. Everybody got a way to teach that lesson. That's all I'm saying. I see the clock. Let me get to this lesson and get out of here. So therefore, understand this. There is really no such thing as good or evil. Okay? You can't have one without the other. You're the deciding factor. Your actions will dictate your karma. If you do good, you get good. You do bad, you can get karma. Moving on. What you deserve, excuse me. That's the name. There is distractions. Excuse me. These are just distinctions made by who? The ignorant who are unaware of the interconnectedness of everything and everyone in the universe, aka being connected to the one, being part of the one. You don't know that. So through your struggle of positive versus negative, higher versus lower, Haru versus Set, however you want to call it, black versus white, make it any way you want. You decide what side you fall on. That's all. You tip the scale. Moving on. And watch this. Okay, good versus negative, Horus versus Set, yin and yang. You see where we're going with that? Giving and receiving, that's reciprocity. Okay, infinity, as long as you're giving, as long as I'm receiving, we can continue. It can go on forever. That's what it represents. That's what Mayat means. And when it's done like that, that's what it's supposed to be. It continues, feeds off itself, like the Ouroboros serpent biting his own tail. I found out that the serpent, once it bites, it can't let go. The teeth, so it'll keep eating. So that's another lesson. But yeah, I found that out. When you study, you find little things out that you didn't know and you thought you knew them. It's always something that you can learn. That's why I'm a student of life. Moving on. But watch this. Giving and receiving. That's the great law of reciprocity, of duality, which dictates what? Positive or negative consequences. What? According to our actions in handling of circumstances, situations that we're confronted with. You're responsible for the action. Moving on. Ignorance, here we go. Ignorance is a sure way to what? Evil, slavery, disease, again, death. That's the surefire way. Remember, the sign for the ego is a man with a hatchet to his head is self-destruction. So ignorance cannot be bliss. Not knowing about something is fine, but no, not knowing thyself, you don't want to be ignorant of thyself. That's what I'm saying. So moving on. And therefore, excuse me, where we at? Ignorance is all these things. When deaf, and whereas knowledge, here we go, and its correct application. Having knowledge don't mean jack. The application of that knowledge is all the difference in the world. And therefore, watch this, would lead to what? Good physical and spiritual health where? On this earth and even beyond. The Bible, Ackerman, basic instruction before leaving earth. Okay, that means you know the spirit ain't gonna stay here without the body. Where it's going? Okay, it's leaving earth. And if you ain't woke up and became Christ-like, whatever y'all want to do it, you gonna stay here and the spirit gonna go find another body. That's the concept y'all even got. So it ain't just, oh, that's what they said. It's changed. Ain't nothing changed. It's the same thing. So moving on. And the idea is to what? Raise your conscious level to know thyself. And therefore what? You're armed with what? This understanding. And now one stops the wishing that evil or negativity did not exist in the world. Why? It's here for a purpose and a reason. All you got to do is understand it and avoid it. Simple. Everybody don't break the law. Everybody don't go to prison. Everybody not a criminal. One understands, firstly, what? That in labeling something evil or negative, what are we doing? We are making a judgment. Hello. Based on what? Our own individual perceptions. Again, you should judge you. Your perception of what's, you should just leave it be. We can't do that to save our life. But watch this. Now, secondly, they that exist to show the way toward correctness, sages, justice, and righteousness, rather than what? Seek to learn from evil, the true direction and destiny of the divine Ba, which is yourself, your spirit, one can then appreciate what? That the universe is set up in a system wherein everything that comes into being, what? Becomes dual. Spirit and matter. Again, mind and body. So in so doing, each side, positive and negative, the brain that we got in our head, two hemispheres, they had to do what? Work with the other to what? Complete the urge to what? To complete and urge the other unto greater and greater heights. You compete consciously, what? To be your best self. As Muhammad Ali say, the greatest love of all, where is inside you. Being your best self, you'll find that inside yourself. That's where it is in all of us. Some of us just won't find it. You get another chance at it. Don't worry about it. Moving on. Now, since the idea of universal whole of creation, that's why we start with the creation story, all is connected. Ain't nothing separate. Good and evil do not really exist. They only are terms used to denote what? Opposites. And in creation, with no good or bad connotation, you got nothing. The idea of good and evil is only an illusion created by what? Our own minds, so that we may use discernment and differentiate what? In efforts that we may judge between different courses of action for ourselves and thereby learn how to interact in the world of time and space and provide for our own well-being. Every individual is responsible for that. In our usual context, negative is used to donate what? A bad experience, with positive is used to donate a what? A wonderful, good experience. That's all it is. In the physical body, everything's experienced. Why? Some good, some bad. But watch this. Now, in this context, positive describes what? Upward, forward, movement, expansion of consciousness, learning lessons, what? Of life. If you're here, you don't, in life, you don't want to learn how to live life, what you're here for? That's a true question. If learning and knowing who you are is not your program, what you here for? Moving on. In progress in life, again, in health. Health means long life. Bad health, you won't live too long. Negative, what happened, then becomes what? The opposite of complacency, contraction of consciousness, meaning small-minded, narrow-minded, egotistical, judgmental, argumentative, not following what? The universal laws, and illness and death and reincarnation is in their future. So it's okay. You want to be that? That's what you got. And let me wrap it up. I'm almost done. Since we are spiritual beings, and that's what we are, having a human experience, all situations that we encounter may be judged by who? Our own egos as good or bad, and that's fine. So you are the deciding factor. May be viewed as positive since what? You provide us with the what? The opportunity to perfect or practice what? Self-control, mastery of emotions, spiritual discipline, acting under the rightness and understanding of God, and accomplishing this and gaining wisdom. Why? To help others in dealing with situations which evoke what? Your passion, leads to anger, more hatred, and selfishness, lust, or even sometimes elation and exuberance. That's that roller coaster of life. When it's good, you're happy. When it's bad, it goes down. I'm living proof right now. You'll never know I'm in the valley. Why? It ain't none of your business. So I just maintain. Okay. If I'm up here, you never know why. Because I just maintain. Again, that's how it's done. And watch this. This attitude toward life, because you have to have when you have to live it, will lead you to attain what? Purity of heart and spiritual enlightenment. In chapter 17, wrapping it up, 39, verse 39 to 42, the Egyptian book of coming forth by day, the idea of matter and its relationship to what? The spirit, and the purification process in which through righteous, virtuous living are explained when you, the initiate, speaks as the follower. I have made an end of all my failings. I mean, I check myself. I put myself in the right frame of mind. I'm doing the right things now. I'm living, doing what's right. I have removed my defects. My bad part, my egoistic parts, I removed them. And when that is, what then is it? The separation of what? Corruptibility of matter. My physical body don't dictate my actions where I'm going doing things for what? Lust, money, or something that don't really serve me. It is you the initiate. Your job is to triumph before the gods, all driven away, all of your defects which belong to you. What is it? What is this then? This is now the purification of the day of what? Your new birth. You had to be born again. Why? You got to kill off all the old. You can't bring the old with you. No. That's why they said you must die. Not philosophically, metaphorically. That's what they mean. Dying to the old to bring in the new. That's why the snake sheds his skin. He ain't got to die. He just roll up out there. And our spirit does the same thing. When the physical body dies, it just slide up out there. I'm out. And depending on what you did with it, while you're alive, it's either going to go that way or that way. That's the lesson in evil. I got a nice lesson for you come up with devil, and then I'm going to lead you into steadfastness, how to deal with these things for yourself to master oneself. That's the lesson. And again, in closing, right thinkers, may you all live to be 100, me, 100 minus a day. So I never know that right thinkers like you have passed away. I'll be right back.